नाम तुम्हारा बाई सुंदर खेले तुम ब्रजरास में मनोरथ पूर्ण ना भय ए तीसरा हुआ तिन से अब साथ बुलाए के आओ अपने धाम धनी हुए साथ कहाँ है कया में भेजूं तमाम कया में भेजूं तमाम अब सब साथ बुलाए के बोलिए श्री प्राणनाथ प्यारे की जय। We got to hear a beautiful story, real life story of one of our Sundar Sadji, Akila Sridharji, currently residing in Hong Kong, but she was awakened in UAE, she's from South India. We got to hear a beautiful story that inspired every one of us, those who are looking for ways to find bliss that she has experienced over the years. When I heard her story, it reminds me of one fact, that if you are related to Sri Radhi, if you are related to Sri Krishna, he finds the path for us. He finds a way for us to get closer to him and reestablish the forgotten relationship, regardless of the state of our devotion, regardless, irrespective of whether we are in constant remembrance of him. The fact of the matter is, she was always looking for God. She was always looking for the grace of Sri Krishna. I, in fact, was running away from God, denying his existence. But finally, he found us both, and vice versa. He found us, we found him. It was a beautiful story, so I would like to thank her again for sharing her experiences. Although I was not able to be there live, listening to her speech, listening to her story, listening to her real life experiences, I could watch her later on. I could watch her story. So thank you so much, Akilaji, and I hope that you will continue to awaken Sundar Sats, awaken the lost souls in this world. Thank you. So on Monday, we were talking about the third darsana that Sadguru Maharaj receives of Sri Krishna. Bhai Kishora Ati Sundara Swarup Khilajo Vrindavan. So Sri Krishna in his divine form, the form that played Ras with the Sakhis of Vrindavan, he gave him the darsana. The same question Devachandraji had in mind for so long were asked to Devachandra. Tu kaun aaye ta kyun kara, kahan hai tero vatan, nar tu kaun khasham ki, ye drid kar kaho vachana. Tu jagat hai ki need mein, karke dekh vichara, vida sari yaki kaho, ina jimi ke prakar. These 5 questions were bugging his mind for so long. He was looking for answers to these questions. He was asking these questions to everyone he thought could provide the answer to. But he never did. As we look back to Sadhguru's life, Devachandraji's life, he continued his pursuits despite the challenges, despite the hiccups he met along the way. Because he had attained the mastery. The mastery is denying the reality of this transient world and seek the eternal. As it is said, the masters who have walked on this planet are those who have discovered the secret of the relative world and refuse to acknowledge its reality. As it is stated in Conversation with God, one of the books written by Neil Donald Walsh. If we look at Sadhguru's life, there were other Krishna Bhakti traditions in existence with hundreds of thousands of followers. They sang the glory of Sri Krishna. They came up with the reviews, the descriptions, the explanation of the holy book of Bhagavata, where Krishna Leelas are explained. Devachandraji himself sought answers to his questions from the scholars of these bhakti movements, but to no avail. If we look at the history of Devachandraji, the Krishna followers, the devotees of Sri Krishna, the leaders of bhakti movement were already born. If we look at the dates, Devachandraji was born in 1581, in 1581 AD, which is 1638 according to the Hindu calendar. But there were already, Vallabhacharya was born in 1478, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in 1486 AD, Surdas 1488, Mirabai 1504, Dadu Dayal 1544. All those bhakti movement leaders, the leaders of bhakti movement, were already there. They had sought Sri Krishna, they had sought the grace of Sri Krishna, yet they could not find the answers that should have been sought by those religious leaders. Devachandraji continues. He continually looks for the answers to those questions. He does not give up in his pursuit. As we know, he already had the darshan of Sri Krishna. He had already found himself in Braja. He could have simply stopped looking further. Because as we know, that he already had found Sri Krishna. But his questions remain unanswered. That's why he continues. So the 5 questions Sri Krishna asked were, Tu kaun? The first question, who are you? The second question, Ai ita kyon kara? Why did you come to this world? The third question, Kahan hai tero vatan? Where are you originally from? Fourth one, Nara tu kaun khashameki? Whose consort are you? And the fifth question, Tu jagata hai ki needa mein? Are you awakened or are you in the state of sleep? So these 5 questions were the questions that Sri Krishna asked Devachandraji. And these were the same questions that were haunting Devachandraji for the last 35 years. These 5 questions were the questions he was looking for an answer to for all these years. To find answers to these questions, he listens to the Bhagavata Discourse for 14 years. He reaches out to hundreds of thousands of saints and scholars of Vedic and Abrahamic religious traditions. Yet, when Sri Krishna asked him, he said, मैं न पहचानूं आपको न सुध अपनो घर पियू पहचान भी नींद में मैं जागता हूँ यहाँ पर. I do not know myself, neither do I know the abode where I'm from. And I do not really know, but it seems that you are the Lord Supreme that I'm looking for. Although I don't know anything about you, where you are from, your Leelas, I do not know anything about you. And that is the state I find myself in. I'm not really sure if I'm awakened or I'm in the state of sleep. When Devachandraji answered the questions this way, Sri Krishna gives the answer. Now, the answers that Devachandraji was looking for. First, he said, Nama tumhara Bai Sundara. You are the divine consort of Paramdham named Sundarbai. And in you, you have the spirit of Syamaji, the bliss part of me, said Sri Krishna. So the first question is answered. Our identity is not the identity of our body, like I said before. It's my body. It's my life. It's my hand, my head, my career, my house. The things that are mine are not me. Mine is not me. The life inside us, the life force, because of which everything exists. The scriptures give them the name. Soul is what Devachandraji wanted the name of. So Sri Krishna answered, your name is Sundarbai, and you are the divine consort, the leading soul of Paramdham, having the spirit of Syamaji in you. The second question, Aite kyun kara? Why did you come to this world? Sri Krishna said, you came to this world to witness the game of suffering, witness the deceitful world, the world of forgetfulness, along with 12,000 friends of yours, along with 12,000 consorts, just like you. So the reason was explained. Aita kyun kara? If we look at the world around us, everyone is forgetful of this reality, right? That is why they are in pursuit of some petty things. They are in pursuit of material happiness that never satisfies their quest. Deep down, we're all looking for perennial happiness, not the temporal one. And we are misguided by the fact that it is probably the wealth, it is probably the prestige, it is probably the attention that gives us happiness. But the reality is much different. That's why I always quote one of the NBA players that once said, people think that having a lot of wealth gives us happiness. He said, I wish all the people had millions of dollars in their bank accounts so that they could realize that it's not money that gives them happiness. We are all in pursuit of material glory and things of that nature. But we're all lost because even when we have that, we do not find the happiness that we really find ourselves in pursuit of. So Sri Krishna said, you came to witness the game of suffering. You came to witness the deceit, the forgetfulness, the maya of this world. And that is what we are witnessing. Everybody is lost in their pursuit of happiness. Third one, kahan hai tero vatan? So where is your original abode? Where is your original home? Because the world that we find ourselves in is a transient one. We do not stay here forever. It is not where soul belongs to. So Devachandraji didn't have that answer, and Sri Krishna said, your original abode is Paramdham, the supreme heaven, which is located well beyond the perishable world, Kshara Brahmanda, as it is stated in Vedic scriptures, and even beyond the world of imperishable Brahma, Akshara Brahma, who creates and annihilates millions and billions of universes in the blink of an eye, called Akshardham. So it is beyond Akshar. That's why it is called Aksharatit, beyond Akshar, Aksharatit Dham. Paramdham is your original abode. Paramdham is where you are from. Hadda para behadda hai, behadda para akshara, akshara para vatana hai, jagiye hi nagar, says Mahamati. Beyond the perishable is the imperishable, and beyond the imperishable is the divine abode of Paramdham. That is your place. Awaken yourself, Sundar Saji, says Mahamati. So the third question is answered. You are from Paramdham, the ever-effulgent, ever-radiating, ever-existing Paramdham. which is bountiful of love and grace. Third question is answered too. The fourth question, Naratu Kona Kashamaki, whose consort are you? To that, Sri Krishna said, you are my consort, one of the 12,000 beloveds, residing eternally in that perennial bliss of Paramdham. You are my consort, one of the leading consorts of Paramdham. So the fourth question is answered. The fifth one, Tu jagata hai ki neend mein? Are you in the state of awakening, or are you in the state of sleep? And for that, Sri Krishna said, you were in the state of sleep until I gave you the understanding. Until Devachandraji finds himself in Paramdham, until he finds his name, the reasoning behind his coming to this world. Sri Krishna said, you were in the state of sleep, but now you are awakened. Now you are awakened. Because the mantra that Sri Krishna gives, Devachandraji, the 16-letter mantra that we know by the name of Nijanam mantra, Tara Tamma. Tar is something that removes, Tam meaning darkness, the knowledge, the light that removes darkness, that carries soul towards the eternal from this forgetful world. So Raji said, you were not awake until now, but now you are. After that, all the questions of Devachandraji's mind are answered. Sri Krishna says, so you came to this world to witness the world of suffering, witness the pain, pangs of separation from the Lord Supreme, from me. Now, 12,000 consorts like you are here in this world of awakening. You were in Braja, you were in Ras, but your desire to witness the separation from me was not yet fulfilled. So you wanted again to see the separation. You wanted to experience the separation because you asked for the game of suffering. In Braja and Ras, you found me all the time, all around you. So your desire to witness the game of suffering was not yet over. So you came to this world of awakening, Jaganiko Brahmanda. So now your responsibility is to awaken those 12,000 souls that have come to this world in different religious traditions, with different cultural, economic, social values, with different customs. So Devachandraji asked, Dhani, we sata kahan hai? So where are those souls? How can I find them and awaken them? So for that, Sri Krishna says, Main bhejo tamam. I will send them to you. I will redirect them to you. And Devachandraji asked, how could I do that? How will I be able to awaken them? For that, Sri Krishna says, Yaha Bhagavat Kagada Tumhara, Ye Tumhe Khule Kalam, Aur Koi na Khola Sake, Ye Jo Khalaka Aam. The scripture of Bhagavata that you have with you is the one with which you are going to reveal the secrets of Paramdham, the understanding that the world does not yet have. The deepest secrets of Bhagavata, the deepest secret of Krishna Lila will not be explained, will not be unraveled by the ordinary people, ordinary jivas. So you will be revealing the secrets of Paramdham with the understanding that you have, and you will awaken those souls. After explaining all of this, Devachandraji was given a 16-letter mantra, the divine verse, 16-letter incantations. The glory of this 16-letter mantra is found in Vedic scriptures. The glory of it was already given by Lord Supreme in the Vedic scriptures. In Padma Purana, that's why it is stated, Mantas Chinta Mani Prokta Sona Shano Mahamanu Brahma Priyanam Sanityam Dadati Vanashansaya. The 16-letter mantra is stated to be the topmost mantra that fulfills all desires. This mantra is given by the consorts residing with the Lord Supreme in eternal Paramdham, and there should be no doubts about it. If you look at the most chanted mantras around the world in the Vedic traditions, for example, Sri Krishna Saranam Mama, it is an 8-letter mantra. Om Namo Bhagavato Vasudevaya, it is a 12-letter mantra. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. It's a 32-letter, it has 32 letters in it. But the mantra that Sadguru received is that of 16 letters, it's stated, which is also known as Nijanam. Nij meaning of self. Nam is name because it contains the name of the Lord Supreme Himself. Also, it contains His abode and His identity. That's why the saints in the past said, Nijanam padhas tina saba pada, saba mantra naka ved, Nijanam bina khali gaye, pada charu ved. Those who receive the Nijanam mantra and start chanting it wholeheartedly will receive the grace of chanting all other mantras. So chanting Nijanam mantra is equivalent to chanting all other mantras. And those who have chanted the Nijanam mantra, they have understood the value and meaning of all other mantras. But without Nijanam mantra, even if you memorize the verses from all 4 Vedas, Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sam Veda, and Atharva Veda, it's of no use because they won't know anything about the supreme heaven, the eternal abode, Paramdham. It is believed that there are over 70 million such mantras in the world, divine verses, but they are all misguiding humanity from the transcendent reality. That is why the scriptures state that the most exalted, the most divine mantra is the one with the Krishna name in it. Saptakoti Mahamantras Chitta Vibhramakarakaha Eka Eva Paro Mantra Sri Krishna Taksharatwayam, as it is said. The mantra that Sadguru Devachandraji received contains the name of the Lord, Sri Krishna, the abode, Aksharati, and His eternal existence, Anadi, that always existed, the eternality of the Lord Supreme. So the mantra Devachandraji received was 16-letter one. So now Sri Krishna says, now you initiate the work of awakening these souls that have forgotten who they are, have forgotten their promises made in Paramdham. The confidence that they had that they would never forget Raji Maharaj, themselves, and the eternal abode. The promise we made to each other, मैं भूली तो तू मुझे, तू भूली तो मैं तुझे देऊंगी तुरंत जगाए, मैं भूली तो तू मुझे पल में दीजिए बताए. If I forget Paramdham, you remind me, and if you forget, I'll be the one reminding you. Sri Krishna said, You listened to the Bhagavata discourse till now, but the deeper meanings of it were unknown to you. Now you are illumined by the transcendent understanding, Artham. You are the one to unravel its mysteries of Sri Krishna Leela. As we talked about Sri Krishna's Trida Leela, three distinct Leelas of Sri Krishna, three distinct Ras Leelas, three distinctions of Ras Leela. All those concepts would be unraveled by you, because it is only those who are illumined by Tartham that have the ability to unravel the secrets and symbolic meanings of these scriptures. As such, it is stated, Tartamyana janati sachidananda lakshanam sansarat atmanam atisaya tarayatiti tartamah. So, Raji said, I'm giving you this mantra that will awaken the souls from the cosmic dream and help them cross over the ocean of attachment and forgetfulness. And you will be able to experience the divine abode, Paramdham. As the mantra was given, Devachandraji began to find himself in Braja, in Ras, as Radharani. He began to experience the features, the realities of Paramdham, Pachis Paksha Paramdham, as we state. Dhama Talav Kunjabana Johe Manika Nehre Panki Shohe Paschima Chaugana Badovana Kahiye Bukharaji Jamunaji Lahiye Athon Sagar Ath Jinike Pachis Paksha Sri Dham. All the 25 aspects of Paramdham become clear to him. Dham, the Ranga Mahal, the place where Raji Maharaj participates with 12,000 consorts in eternal Leelas. Talav, Kunjaban, one of the forest, Manik Pahad, Banki Neher, Paschim Saugan, Badoban, Pukharaji, the river Yamuna, 8 oceans, 8 Sagar, 8 Jinu. So all these 25 aspects of Paramdham were unraveled to him. He could experience them. So Raji Maharaj told him to spread the Leelas of Paramdham to the world. He was told to spread the knowledge of the beyond and awaken the souls. After saying all this, Sri Krishna said to Devachandraji, I won't come before you in this divine form again and again. This is the final time. Ask me if you have any question before I go. Devachandraji asked, O Lord Supreme, O Sri Krishna, where will you go? Where will I find you? Dhani, kahan jaoge tum? For that, Sri Krishna says, Tumhare andar aakar mein aaye ke baithe hum. I will be residing in your heart. As his soul is illumined by the awakened consciousness, and Lord Sri Krishna resides within him. That is why we call him Sadguru. Sadguru Sri Devachandraji. Boliye Sri Sadguru Maharaj ki jai. So Mahamati Pranaji gives the meaning of the word Sadguru in one of the holy books, in Kirantan. He says, Sadguru Sadhu Vaku Kahiye Jo Agama ki Deve Gamma Hadda Behadda Parachave Bhane Manaki Bharam. Sadguru is the one who gives the understanding of the beyond, who gives the understanding of the transcendent. Jo Agama ki Deve Gamma. The one who distinguishes the transient and the eternal. Hadda behadda farachave, and bhani manaki varama, and removes all the confusions, all the contradictions, and directs the soul to its eternal reality. So, as such, we sing the glory of Sadguru, who actually opened the door of the effulgent Paramdham to all of humanity. The arrival of transcendent understanding, the divine wisdom of Tartham through him. showed us the path of self-realization. This divine understanding, this divine reality was awaited for an extended period of time by humanity. The understanding now compiled in the holy book of Tarkam consists of 18,758 verses, which has got the wonderful teachings that provides happiness and peace to the souls distressed by the sorrows and pains of this illusory world. It shows them an easy path to reach the divine abode of Paramdham. It also provides solutions to the religious, social, and political problems of the society that we live in today. As such, Mahamati says, Nija naam soi jahir hua jaki sab duni raha dekhata mukta desi brahmanda ko aaye brahma atma shata. The transcendent understanding will give salvation or moksha to the whole of humanity. And it is the grace of these consorts, awakened souls, Sundar Sats, that are making it possible. It's such in every evening in our service to Sri Krishna, we also sing the glory of Sadguru Sri Devachandraji. We start up singing the glory of Sadguru Sri Devachandraji. Vando Satguru Charan ko Karu Prema Pranam Ashubha Harana Mangal Karana Sri Devachandraji Naam Sri Devachandraji ko darsha diyo जो है पूरन रो तारतम को तत्व कहयो हृदय बैठेश्वरो. That's why we sing the glory of Sadguru Sri Devachandraji Maharaj, because he opened the avenues to Paramdham for all of us. So Devachandraji said, since you are going to reside in my heart, what would I have to ask you? Because since you would be residing within me, if I have any question, I can always reach out to you. Sri Krishna disappears instantly. And the turbulence, the wind gust, and the dust settles. In the Krishna Mandir, Syamji's Mandir, where Kanjivata gives the discourse, everybody, when it's all settled, wonders the events, the winds and the turbulence, what it was. But Devachandraji has found all the answers to his questions. While everybody wonders, Devachandraji is so blessed to have answers to his questions. He actually had a divine darsana of Sri Krishna, the Lord Supreme. It's a day of his greatest feat, greatest accomplishment. It is the day of God realization. It is the day of self-realization. And he could not feel happier for his penance in hard work that finally paid off. Devachandraji realized who he was. Sri Krishna appeared before him and answered all his questions. Sundar Satji, the question is now to you, to us. What about us? This is the question we gotta ask ourselves. We are given the Tartam mantra. We are awakened by the grace of God. We know that we reside in Paramdham. We are here only to witness this game of suffering. But we are there in Mul Milawa, in that meeting with Sri Raji in Mul Milawa. Have we found all the answers? As soon as the Nijanam mantra that he received enters his heart, he starts chanting that mantra. Devachandraji begins to see Paramdham, himself in Paramdham. All the features, all the glory of Paramdham comes before his very eyes. What about us? Devachandraji knows that he is the soul of Paramdham named Sundar Baba. What about us? We've been told we are from Paramdham. Have we realized it? Have we experienced the bliss of Paramdham yet? Are we all equally worthy of the grace of Sri Raj? Can such an enlightenment happen to us as well? These are the questions that we need to ask ourselves in their sense. This is the pursuit that we have to take forward. These are the questions that should haunt us. These are the questions we have to have answers to. Most of us are suspicious of such occurrence because Rajji's promise seemed too good to be true. Rajji says, "Tu saji kare ek bera, to main jichi karu das bera." You call out my name once, I'll answer you 10 times. These promises seem too good to be true. Rajji says, "You are from Paramdham. You are my eternal soul. You are my beloved." But having found ourselves in this world full of suffering, we fail to realize His grace. His words seem too good to be true. Because we cannot accept this grandest truth that God makes Himself available to those who sincerely seek Him. As such, we generally reduce ourselves to the religious belief that teaches fear and dependence and intolerance rather than love, power, and acceptance. Isn't it the truth? The concept of heaven and hell, for example, the eternal hellfire, the everlasting damnation, the concept of best religion, all these concepts and beliefs, aren't these the byproducts of us not believing the mercy, grace, and benevolence of Lord Supreme Sri Raji? Because we do not believe His words, because we have not experienced His grace, we begin to look into these books, in this text, misinterpret them, and we talk about this hell and damnation and ever-burning fire and those concepts. Dear Sundar Satsi, in fact, we are all special. We are all Raji's consorts. He showers His grace to all of us. But sometimes we fail to realize the grace. Isn't that the reality? Let me tell you a story. A motivational speaker, a well-known motivational speaker, was speaking to a group of students. And he took out a $100 bill from his wallet and showed it to them and asked, "Who wants this bill?" $100 bill. And to no surprise, everyone raised hands. I want it. Then he wrinkles the bill with both hands and again shows the bill to the group, asking them if they still want it. Everyone raised hands in conformity. Yes, we still want it because it's still $100 bill. Then he drops the bill to the floor, stamps it with his foot, and shows that dirty, wrinkled bill, almost torn $100 bill to the group. He asked them again to see if anyone still wants it. Surprisingly, everyone raises hands, despite the condition of the bill. He then tells all of them that despite who we are, irrespective of our successes and failures, our accomplishments and failures, we are all precious in the eyes of God. We all mean so much to God. Our failures and difficulties in life do not determine our value. The wrinkled, the dirty $100 bill is as good as the $100 bill that is new. that looks so clean. In fact, we are as valuable as everyone else, and we have the same potential to receive the grace of God. Sundar Shahji, we may have different experiences in life. Some of us probably are more successful in our worldly pursuits than others. Some of us probably are in a better relationship, constructive relationships, romantic relationships than the one that others experience. But those experiences do not undermine the value, the potential that we have. Now the question is, are we ready to explore our potentials? Are we really ready to realize God's grace and presence in our lives? Mahamati says, isn't it that time already? Since the transcendent understanding of Tatham, the transcendent awakened consciousness of Tatham is at our disposal, with the grace of Sadguru Sri Devasandraji Maharaj and Mahamati Swami Sri Pranaji Maharaj. Do you still think there is some time to spare? Do you still think we have some time to wait and be complacent and unworried? The reality is, we do not know what tomorrow brings, isn't it? So how long do we wait? Devachandraji is awakened by this transcendent understanding and given the responsibility to awaken souls like us, forgetful in this world. He finds all the answers to his questions and experiences the divine bliss. We probably have answers to most of these questions. I don't know my name, but I know why I'm here in this world. I know where I came from. I know why I came to this world. I know, at least in terms of my knowledge, I am awakened because I know I'm in Paramdham right now, witnessing the world of Maya, world of suffering, a deceitful world. But in terms of experience, have I experienced the grace of God in my life? Have I experienced Paramdham? Have I seen the glory of Paramdham? Have I seen the eternal divine form of Sri Raji Maharaj and Syamaji Maharani? Have I found myself among the 12,000 consorts of Paramdham? Have I played in the swings of Paramdham? Have I taken the deep dives in Yamuna River? Have I dived in Hausakoshar Talab? Have I? Have you? So are we really awakened? It's a time to reflect on that. It is a time of self-reflection. Those who are not awakened by this transcendent understanding of Tartham, they have an excuse because they do not know the transcendent reality. Look at what we did in Braja and Ras. We were unaware of the realities of Paramdham in Braj and Ras. We were not aware that we were the consorts of Lord Supreme in Braja and Ras. We were unaware of the fact that the Sri Krishna that we were so fond of, Sri Krishna who we had so much love for, we were unaware that he was the Lord Supreme himself from Paramdham. Yet, after 52 days of separation from Sri Krishna, when Sri Krishna plays the flute, we left everything we called ours. We left our homes. We left our kids. We left our in-laws. We left Brajamandal to be with Sri Krishna. Wasn't that true? Now in this world of awakening, with the knowledge given to us by Sadguru Sri Devasandraji and Mahamati Pranaji, we know it all. We are the consorts of Lord Supreme residing in Paramdham, currently in Mul Milava. with 12,000 others. We know for the fact that we are the eternal souls of Paramdham. We know the reason why we came to this world. We also know the ways we can be awakened in Paramdham. We know it all. Yet, finding ourselves so lost in this world, not listening to the calls of Sadguru Sri Devachandraji and Pragnaji, not listening to the flutes of knowledge that they have played for us, is a big, big mistake. Because Raji Maharaj, considering us to be his consorts, is giving all the knowledge that we need. He came to Braja, he came to Ras, he went to Arab, he came to this world as Sadguru Sri Devachandraji, he came to this world as Mahamati Pranaji, he came to this world 5 times, always finding us the right path, always guiding us. The question is, with all that, what are we doing in this world? Why are we not awakened? That is the question of self-reflection for all of us, Chandar Shahji. So as Devachandraji finds answers to these questions, he returns home. He comes to Gangaji Bhai, Kanjivata the next time and says, Guruji, my pursuit is over. My penance, my quest of finding answers to the questions is over because I have found the answers. Sri Krishna gave me the divine darshana, so I won't be coming to the Bhagavata discourse. The same Kanjivata is awakened later on by this transcendent understanding. The same Kanjivata that teaches Bhagavata to Devachandraji becomes one of the followers of Sri Krishna Pranami faith later on during his life. The 40 years of penance, the 40 years of pursuit, the relentless pursuit, paid off finally. Devachandraji found all the answers to his questions. He goes home. It is a matter of such a joy that he wants to share it to someone. It is believed that the first person he reached out to was a barber, the hairdresser. He finds him along the way because it is a matter of fact that when we're going through a rough time, we can probably hide our feelings. Right? We can cry at the corner. We can stay without telling it to someone. But when we are truly happy, it is expressed through all our organs. We cannot remain without sharing it to somebody else. So Devachandraji meets the barber. He meets the barber and he asks the barber, how much money do you make in a day? I'll give you double that money if you listen to what I have to say. The barber begins dancing in joy because he doesn't have to go to his shop and trim the hair of all those people. And I will make double the money, so why not? Yeah, I'll be listening to what you have to say. And Devachandraji starts explaining the glory of Paramdham. Oh, Rangamahal is 9-story tall. Pukharaj Pahad is 2,000 story tall. Manik Pahad is 12,000 story tall. And he starts explaining the stories, the glory of all these buildings and features of Paramdham. The barber, who makes few pennies a day, could not believe what he just heard. He could not grasp it. He could not understand what he was saying. So he said, I don't want your money. I would rather go and deal with my customer than listening to your story, because it is beyond my understanding. The barber leaves. Devachandraji realizes that not everyone is worthy of listening to this transcendent understanding. When Mahadeva, Lord Mahadeva, after 5,000 yugas of prayers, because once he misunderstands himself being the Lord Supreme, he starts meditating. And in meditation, a transcendent understanding was revealed to him, the Agambani, that is known as Maheshwar Tantra. And when he begins sharing his understanding, the revelation that he got to Lord Goddess Parvati, his divine spouse, Parvati falls asleep. Dear Sundar Saji, all of these things, the glory of Paramdham, the transcendent understanding, may seem a little too much for some people, because not everyone is worthy of this understanding. So the next person that Devachandraji meets, he goes slowly explaining all the history, all the Beetak of his life and the darshan of Sri Krishna, and he finds that person to be Gangaji Bhai, the one who listens to the Bhagavad Discourse of Kanji Bhatta together with Devachandraji Maharaj. Pehle dina Islam mein Gangaji Bhai dare kadama. He becomes the first disciple of Sadguru Sri Devachandraji. For that matter, he becomes the first follower of Sri Krishna Parnami Dharma Nijananda sect. The story of Gangaji Bhai's awakening, his surprise that 12,000 souls could be awakened, and how Devachandraji answers his questions in regards to awakening, and that would be the topic of tomorrow's discussion.